All right, it's day 8 of me abstaining from all sexual activity with myself. And I had an interesting couple of nights these last few nights. I'd like to talk about something that keeps me motivated. So, the point of this video is whatever keeps you motivated, as long as the end goal is something you want to achieve, that's good. Even if the motivation is really silly. I've had peers of mine who have used various motivators that seem really silly, but they got their end goal. That's very good. So, 2 years ago, I was grappling with an even bigger problem in my life. I had compulsive eating problems. I wouldn't say binge eating because the volume of food I was eating was not terrible. The problem was that compulsions to eat would come at inappropriate times for various social reasons, for various professional reasons. And I lost a job over it. I lost a lot of social opportunities over it. You get the idea. I was at a conference when I walked out of important events over it. I've had times that I have to turn down various social outings over it. And so in 2020, I made a resolution to normalize my relationship with food. And I remember one of my very first fasts was at the beginning of Lent, because my classmate had wanted to quit smoking for Lent. And when he said he wanted to quit smoking for Lent, it gave me a little bit of concern because if you're going to only do it for Lent, right, why not just carry it on after 40 days, right? And when I asked him why he was motivated to quit smoking, his answer gave me even more concern. He told me that he didn't like to go out when it was cold because he had money. The cost of the cigarettes didn't bother him. For me, financial reasons were one of the reasons I wanted to control my eating. They weren't a major reason at the beginning. They kind of became a reason after I realized how much extra cash I had in my pocket. And so he said he didn't want, and he's a little bit too young to think about the long-term consequences of smoking either. But he cared about having to go outside when it was freezing. And we're talking early April now, right? So it gave me a little bit of concern when he brought it up that way. How would he still feel about it in April? Well, he kind of got lucky, I guess, because by April there was another reason he was fearful of going outside, right? But then he realized he didn't think about all the money he was saving. But at the end of it, when he did the calculation, I was like, oh man, I could add that to my vacation budget. You got to remember, April 2020, we still hadn't given up on the hope of going on vacation in the summer of 2020, right? And that was that. Now, when I made the resolution to go on that big fast at the beginning of Lent, I remember thinking that I don't want to look like an idiot in front of my classmate and make it that much easier for him to go back to smoking because, look at that guy. He wanted to go on a 72-hour fast. He couldn't even last 12 hours, right? It would have given him a very easy excuse to not continue on his quest, right? And then we had March is Carrie Underwood's birthday, and so I fasted in honor of her, and I didn't want to feel like I didn't care about her. That's why it was so easy for me to fast. Now, what gets really interesting is some of these birthdays that I celebrate, I also know some of these people, at least on social media, and so, especially a Polish Idol winner. One of the Polish Idol winners I talk very extensively to because she supports the idea of being happily single. The second place winner, Evelina Falenta, and she promised to write some songs about being happily single. I sent her some lyric suggestions and all of that. And I told her about my intermittent fasting, and now I really can't let her down, right? Now, this past week, I quit masturbating, and the reason I wanted to quit is very similar to the reason I wanted to stop compulsive eating. I had out-of-control urges at the wrong times, the wrong places, and sometimes I would do it at the wrong times and places, and it really affected my social, my professional life. And I picked the other Polish Idol, Elisa Janazi, the winner of Polish Idol Season 1, her birthday to start. Because I really like her, and I didn't want to feel like I didn't care about her. And also because in times past, I used to fantasize about her a lot, right? She's probably, if you count up all the time I've ever spent fantasizing about anybody, she probably makes up a huge part of that of all the time, right? And so I've gone 7 days. Yesterday I had a very turbulent night. So I want you to pause the video to think about what's the toughest part about abstaining. It's actually not during the daytime when I have a lot of activities and distractions. It's at night being able to fall asleep afterwards. You know, when I'm really tired, I can still sleep whether or not I feel comfortable. The problem is I can't sleep every 24 hours anymore. I tend to sleep every 28, 29 hours because I got to be really tired out of my mind to overcome the urge, right? And unfortunately, that doesn't work with the rest of my activities, right? And so yesterday, once again, I allowed myself to toss and turn. I only got 3 hours of sleep. But you know what? I feel I didn't let anybody down. And so even with only 3 hours of sleep, I can still seem to function. Although it's going to get tricky if it starts to affect my driving. Then I'll have to think about what to do at that point, right? We got the weekend coming up, though. I'll repay some of this sleep debt and carry on. Thanks for watching.